Greetings, greetings, greetings. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our full moon. That was replaying in my ear. So let's see if we can go again. It is not even Mercury retrograde. What's going on? Okay. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Then I'll just ignore being able to hear myself and keep it moving. Let me know in the comments, y'all. Blessings, blessings. Okay, sound is good. All right. It's just tripping out on me tonight. All right. Well, I'm gonna just maybe kind of move this to the side. Just give me 1 second to see if I can turn the audio down. At least I won't hear it. All right. Do you still hear me now? Sound good? Sound good? One more time. One more time. Let me know if y'all can hear me now. I turned my sound down. You can still hear. Okay, now let's keep it popping. It is too late to have some technical difficulties. Too late in the evening for this. But I appreciate y'all being here because listen, this full moon did not come to play. It's all cute and everything, but a full moon in Sagittarius, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. It is asking us to go deep. It is asking us to deal with some of the karmic stuff. It is asking us to deal with some ancestral stuff that we may have come here with. And when we're talking about karma and we're talking about ancestors, that means there's some shadow work involved. But don't trip. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna walk through it together. We do a little bit of education and we'll get to the ritual again. I know it's late, so we're not gonna go too far. Um, if y'all have watched my channel before, I tend to go off on a tangent, and I'm not gonna do that tonight. We're gonna stay focused. At least I'm gonna try. So yes, so I created this so that we can unravel these karmic patterns, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and these ancestral truths, and we can move forward with our own liberation. And again, if you've been watching any of my videos, especially since February when I did the 28-day ancestral activation, it's all about liberation. Look at what's happening around us. We have to, within ourselves, become sovereign so that we can work together in community to do the same thing. Our ancestors are coming, are rising. I won't say they're coming back, but they rising up within us so that we can clarify and do the things we need to do moving forward. And this ritual is deeply personal because you're going to be calling on your ancestors. So hopefully you've grabbed, if you can, those things that I had in the, let me take a pause. You're going to see me looking at my notes. I have already told y'all I am perimenopausal auntie. Once I get flowing, I don't remember what I was about to say. I got to look at the notes and I can keep things moving along. So that's what's going on when you see me looking down here so I can stay focused and remember what it was I was about to say. But so candle and obviously something to light the candle and, a water bowl, obviously a bowl with water in it, and incense and or some aromatherapy oils, we're gonna be using that, and then or even perfume, if there was a perfume that one of your elevated ancestors, um, liked, then definitely have that, and then, an ancestral item, because again, we calling them in, and anything that you can hold on to, especially and particularly an elevated ancestor, an ancestor who is benevolent. Let's be real, not every person who has to do with us getting here all the way back is a person. I had ancestors, the information they gave me was like, us. So be prepared. If you sensitive ears, this might not be the one for you, especially it's after 10 o'clock. Maybe she's being big. My ancestor was like, some of the motherfuckers wasn't shit when they was alive, and they still ain't shit, so don't call on them. So that's the way my elevated ancestors with me, and it's the same. So if you got an item from someone that you knew that has passed on and is an ancestor, someone that you know is benevolent, that's perfect. And then paper, you can have a physical journal, but just know that we're gonna be using that paper. And so you might want to use a different piece of paper or just know that you're gonna wind up ripping, some of the papers out. And I see a red pen or a number 2 pencil. The number 2 pencil is just clocking in. Again, that's what I have, my people's from Mississippi, at least the most recent leg of us in this country, Mississippi. They travel throughout the South, and so there's a little bit of hoodoo-ness up in there, and using that number 2 pencil on paper, the physical, actual, materials. I mean, sometimes I put things in my phone too, but when you're talking about pen or pencil to paper, it has more impact. And a number 2 lead pencil, you're talking about elements now, so that's why I say that. Or a red pen, because 'cause we're talking about fire tonight with, Sagittarius, and so being real clear about what it is that you want and using all of those color theories and all of those elemental theories to get what we need to get to. So, let me take a step back. And, why we are doing this at 10:15 or this time of night is because the moon the moon goes through different phases, and since about 4 o'clock this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, the moon was what was in what was called, void of course. When it's transitioning and it's not really stabilized in any particular sign, it's like the mini version of a Mercury retrograde before the moon. So you don't wanna do anything when the moon is void of course. So it just went and got out of that status, and you can look this up. I use an app called iLuna, where you can look every month and every week. Actually, it's not even a monthly thing. It's something that happens pretty regularly to understand when the moon is void of course, and you just chillax during that time, or you do some all the things that you would do during a Mercury retrograde in terms of reviewing, meditating, relaxing, all those words, that's what you do while the moon is void of course, and then you do your rituals and things when it's going forward again. It's not in retrograde, but when it's not void of course. So that's why we doing this so late, and it's a witchy time, so why not? And the Sagittarius moon is in what we call mutual reception, and I'll go more into this later, but it's in mutual reception, meaning the moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. They looking at "Hey, what's up? Let's work together. Let's do this. Alright, we cooperating? Alright, let's do this." And if you follow the Ifa tradition at all, Jupiter, think about Shango, that fire, that bigness, that abundance. Like, "We get it done." I'm like, doing it. And, Cancer is ruled by or associated with Yimoya. So, and those 2 orishas are also associated with each other in, the Ifa or any of the other, traditions that kinda stem from Ifa. So when you think about it, and I like to think about the planets and the luminaries in that way because it helps me to tell stories of what they're doing and understand, "Oh, this is what our ancestors way back were looking at and talking about and thinking about. They were telling stories of how these celestial bodies moved and how the energy moved, and they personified and gave them characters and characteristics. And so when you can look at things in that way, it makes it go in deeper because all of this that we learn, no matter what your spiritual tradition is, ain't worth a damn thing if you can't use it to make your life better. You can't use it to heal. And where we are now in 2025, we all souls chose to be here. If you can't do it and use all the things that we're learning to heal our ancestors by healing ourselves in the here and now, then what's the point? It's for show? We ain't doing that. No. We see what's going on when you do things for show. We ain't doing that. And so if you have been carrying shame, if you have been carrying a fear of being visible, seen, if you have been carrying feelings of unworthiness on any level, we're gonna dig into that tonight. Just be ready. And no, it's not a Imma do this and Imma be all good. It is a process, and I will tell you more about that about in my life and why I know that so freaking well if you don't know me already. But I am Barbara Ohunini. I'm an author. I'm an ancestral strategist. Listen, me and ChatGPT came up with that. We I said all the things that I do, what would be my title? And you know what? I rocks with that because I was a strategist in my career and corporate and all the things and thinking about strategy, and one of my, Orisha in the Ifa tradition is Shango, and it's all about strategy, baby. So, and my here is deeply ancestral. And so, okay, I'm an ancestral strategist, but I'm also the creator of a new course called Your Soul Knows the Assignment. Because we all here to do a thing that we know we forget as we come through the birth canal. And we're just here and we get inundated with other people's expectations and ideas of who and what we should be. But the soul had a plan when it came here, and the soul still remembers. And your mission throughout life is to reconnect with your soul so you can understand what the fuck you came here. If you don't do what you came here for, guess what? You coming back to get it done, or some descendants down the line is gonna come back and get it done. Sound is going in and out. Oh, Jesus. Okay, pause for a minute, y'all. Pause. I'm going to unplug my mic and try again, and then if that don't work, I'm gonna just not use the mic. Okay, what about now? How we sounding? Imma keep talking, maybe talk a little slower and let me know if it's more consistent now. And so, this course that I've created, Your Soul Knows the Assignment, again, it's about decoding that karma. Good? Okay, good. Thank you. Listen, this is community. We in this together. I don't know what kind of things is going on. That has never happened to me. This has never I've done some weird things with because I'm using StreamYard to stream this, but those things have never happened. But we gonna get this together. Anything else weird happens, y'all let me know in the comments. I'm gonna make sure I keep my eye over there. But yeah, I'll talk more, of course, later, but it's really about decoding the karmic patterns that you are here to go through to resolve. And I have, we'll talk more about that. And there's also another video that I've made about a week or so ago that goes more into detail. But that's a big part of what the course is about, and learning how to reconnect with your soul contract. Because that's at the end of the day, you came here for a reason. It wasn't just to be fly, although it's that too. It wasn't just to like, turn up and get the bag and all the things. All of that is part of the blessings, but you literally came here to contribute something to humanity and to learn something for your own soul growth. If you missed the mark on those two, you're coming back to the ghetto. Let me not say ghetto. The earth is beautiful. Anyway, you are beautiful. We give thanks to you. Ashanti Wa, we give thanks to you. But what people and humanity have done with all of their bullshit is made a ghetto. So we want to learn what we got to do. So this channel, Beautiful Powerful Love, my books, things that I do is all about supporting Black women and helping us to remember and recognize that we are beautiful, remember that we are powerful, and to be the love that we've given away to everybody else, the love that other people come to us to get, but don't. There's no reciprocity. They don't pour it back into us. So we are relearning how to love ourselves so deeply and so unconditionally that everybody else can feast off the overflow. But that takes some work because we've been socialized and brainwashed and traumatized to not do that. We gotta take it back and take back our power. Mothers of humanity, to be clear. So if you're ready to stop spinning and start healing, check the link in the description and set up a vibe check call with me to see if the course is something that you would be down for. I opened up my schedule for tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday because there's an early bird special that ends at the end of day on Friday, and I want you to be able to get in. So I was like, all right, if I'm gonna be on the phone all day with people, it's all good. We're gonna get them in. Because to me, it's important. And I also have a few um, partial scholarship slots available too, because again, what we're doing, Black women, we gotta reclaim who we are. We have to reclaim who we are internally and get this damn world straight. But we can't do nothing about the world until we can do what we need to do about ourselves. So that's what I'm here for, and that's what I'm doing. But our flow for tonight is about the Sagittarius full moon. I'm gonna teach a little bit first, and then listen. I come from a long line of teachers, so I can't help but teach. We gotta explain and understand some of the things that we're doing, and then we are going to get into the ritual and help you release some things. Now, setting the intention, you kinda get the vibe for it. We're going deep. We're going into, um, parts of ourselves, shadows of ourselves that maybe and questions that we didn't ask ourselves. Um, and it's not again, this isn't the, "Oh, Imma get this done, be all good." It's the beginning of coming together, or maybe you already been on this journey and this is just another step on the journey for you. Nothing can be done all in one time, all in one night, from one event, one ritual, one anything. We got several hundred years of trauma and drama that's passed down through epigenetics that we gotta unravel, and you can only take it a bit at a time while being gentle and nourishing to yourself. So that's the vibe, is nurture yourself. If shit get heavy, just take a pause, just sit back and listen, turn on some music, do something. Don't leave us, but you take care of yourself. And then just agree to hold love and nurturing for yourself, for your fellow sister, but you can't do it for your fellow sister. Fellow sister, is that the right? It should be sister and sister. Whatever. Language is crazy. But you can't hold love for them if you can't hold love for yourself. So really try to focus in on that, embodying love, holding on to that as an emotional and energetic vibration as you go through this. Because the only way to get through the shadow is with the light of love pulling through. Okay. We talked about the items that you can have. And if you don't have any other items, just roll through, rock with us. You want to come back later with the items, you can still do it. That's why this is on YouTube, because we ain't gatekeeping nothing. All right. Now let's take some 3 deep breaths in, and one more this time. Let it out. You can make a sound when you exhale. Let your shoulders drop and just relax and settle in. Inhale. And I'll just say one more thing before I get into it. I'm doing this work right along with you. Everything that I do, the books, the content, everything is my ancestors talking to me through me. And part of my duty is to share it with other people, with other women, because I'm not the only one on this path. So I'm in this right with you. Okay. Can you use a black pen? If that's what you have, maybe you use what you got. Because trust and believe, that's what our ancestors did. They used what they had. Even, um, I was about to say the olden times, that seems crazy, but just thinking about, um, in antiquity with some of the, Ifa traditions or the other, derivatives of Ifa. I don't know if this sounds derogatory, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, the point is they marked out who on the dirt. So the point is use what you got. So if that's what you got, a black pen, so I should say the preference would be that number 2 pencil or any pencil or a red pen or pencil. But if what you got is a black pen, I'll get all right, so I'm gonna share, my screen, and we're gonna get into it. All right, y'all took some deep breaths, so we're about to talk about some shadow stuff. The hidden weight that we carry. Now, many of us can feel and know that. Now, Imma say some phrases, and we'll talk about them as a little bit as we go, but these may be phrases that you have said to yourself repeatedly, or maybe it's back there way, way in the shadow, and somebody else who was in your life said it to you, but it just repeats, or it's there, but it's so painful, you bury it and run from it every time it come up. So I just want to prepare you for what you might see because some things may be triggering, but we're here to walk through it because the only way to get through it is to get through it. So, I am not enough. That's something, and the other point I will make is that all of these are things that I have said to myself repeatedly over all of these years. Some have become weaker as I've done the work, some are still there, and I'm like, "Damn, y'all are still here?" But I am not enough is something that is almost a Black woman anthem, unfortunately, and it's rooted in our ancestral wounds. How many hundreds of years have we been told that we wasn't enough? We still hearing it, that we not, And on some levels, the horrific conditions that our people went through, our bodies absorb that false belief that we are not enough. But the truth is, we are so much that we built this country, we built the world, we built all the things. That's how enough we are. And again, it's reinforced by this generational messaging, and it shows up as perfectionism or people pleasing or self-sabotage. Deep down, that limiting belief is telling you you're not enough, so you don't stop yourself before you get too far along. And it hides behind overachievement as well. So the system of getting the bag and doing the things and working and wherever you're working and doing the things, overachieving is a way to say, I gotta keep proving myself because I'm not enough. Another thing that we say often sometimes is, "They really saw me, they wouldn't accept me." So we hide, self-sabotage again. And again, that's tied to that historical punishment for visibility, whether it resulted in lynching. Can I say that word? Not that word, but the word I'm thinking of right now. Well, in social media, they say grape instead of the actual word we're talking about. All of these horrific things that happened to us because we were seen. I talk a little bit about this in my first book, From Fat, Black, and Unlovable to Beautiful, Powerful Love, and I call them plantation proverbs. These are things that our ancestors, and by ancestors, not even that far back, the ones who lived through Jim Crow and Reconstruction and Civil Rights era and all of that, to be seen and to be noticed by white people was putting you in danger. So there's a part of us that says, "I gotta stay hidden or else something so bad's gonna happen. I'm not safe if I'm seen." Those trauma that we have to undo because it prevents us from showing up fully. It prevents us from blossoming into who we fully are. Now this next one, it's actually 10 of them, but they all stem from the same thing. Imma just roll through them. I must prove I deserve to be here. That's, again, internalized from centuries of being told that we're not worthy, that we don't deserve to be in the spaces. Don't even get me started talking about all this DEI bullshit that's going on. That alone will have people feeling like they gotta prove that they deserve to be here. And if I rest, I'm lazy and will fall behind. And that comes from generational being exploited for labor. We weren't allowed to rest. We were beaten if we rested. Someone may have gotten sold away if we rested. So that's internalized, and that our worthiness, our selfness is tied to productivity and not our own personhood. Has to go. Another one is I have to tone it down or I'll be punished. That's again that whole visibility thing. Can't nobody see me. Do you know how many years and years and years I pretty much just forget about this slimming. It was a way to hide. What? We're not doing that anymore. Being seen as too much, too angry, especially as Black women. If somebody do you wrong and you say something, then you just being an angry person. What? No, you did some bullshit and stepped out of line and you getting told that. Any way of speaking up for yourself was categorized as being too much, too loud. And Imma just say that as a slight detour. Sometimes that comes from our own people. It's the indoctrinated, it's the colonized mind that's telling Black women, "Oh, you need to be more demure, you need to be this, that's not feminine, that's masculine." Girl, you don't even know what masculine is because 'cause you're not it. Don't get me started, sorry. Okay, keep it moving. Success will make me a target. Ooh, that ties into the self-sabotage. Um, a strong Black woman, and we carried from lives lost, being educated, land owning, outspoken, free thinking, prosperity felt dangerous. Think Black Wall Street. And the Black Wall Street in Tulsa is just one story of many. There were many Black Wall Streets burned down, people unalived, towns buried under a so-called Lake Lanier, Atlanta. All of these things go into our collective memory to say being successful is dangerous. It's a threat to your life. Or, I can't let them see me break. Strong Black woman. And that's where strong Black woman come in. And we have this mask born of necessity because we can't let people see it. I know, again, most of the first part of my life, I prided myself on, "I ain't gonna cry. You ain't gonna see me cry. You ain't gonna see me cry." Oh, listen, crying is the most healing thing you can do for yourself. And oftentimes when I cry deeply, I can feel that I'm not just crying for me, I'm crying for all my ancestral mothers who couldn't. They couldn't stop. They couldn't take the moment to grieve the child that got sold away. They couldn't take a moment to grieve the brutality that had just happened to them, and now they carrying this man's child that owns them. They couldn't grieve for any of the things that were happening for them. So when we are able to let the tears flow, we are able to help them to release as well, to grieve what they never got a chance to do. Woo! I feel that on them too now. And I shouldn't need help. Now, again, this is a byproduct of being in that survival mode, and depending on systems or even others felt unsafe. Let me just do it myself. Let me just get it done. I can't depend on nobody. Let me just get it done. How many times a Black woman has said, "Psh, okay, fine, let me just do it. Imma just do it." Another one is they'll find out I'm not really enough. Imposter syndrome is an ancestral scar from being systematically excluded and told we didn't belong. That kinda ties into the, "I must prove I deserve to be here." More trauma from the past. Another one is, "My pain isn't valid, it's just how life is." You know how many times I have said, "Psh, what else was I gonna do?" Because I had to push through hard things, and there was no time to say, "I'm really in pain. That was really hard. I just need to pause." 'Cause the idea was that if I pause, I may not get back up again. So we push through, and we continue to push through. But the reality is, in this life, and our ancestral mothers have been through some shit. Our pain is valid. However we feel and think about it is valid, and that pain deserves to be healed. It deserves to have our attention. Another one is wanting joy or ease feels selfish. I think we're getting a little bit better about that now, but also it depends on the generation. Um Because joy was really safe and it wasn't sustainable. I know I grew up hearing, "Expect the worst so you don't get disappointed when things happen." That is not a way to move through life, but it was the safest way that my people could give us to know how to move through life knowing that disappointment was gonna happen. And it happened so frequently and almost like clockwork. It was just like, prepare yourself for the worst so you won't be tragically disappointed when it happens. But again, we have to release that. We're not in those times, and we need to move forward, and we need to help them to release that. And then if I speak my truth, I'll be punished or abandoned. Speaking up during those times, the last 500 years, hell, speaking up now can be dangerous. So the idea of speaking the truth, being fully authentically who you are, speaking the truth feels like a threat to your life quite often. But it's something that we have to let go. It's something that we have to release from our soul memory. That's why we're here. Especially y'all that are, whether you hear live or on the in the replay, there was something about it that your soul is like, "Yeah, we gotta let go. We gotta do some things differently. We have to release." Because at the end of the day, unworthiness, shame, and fear of being visible is a weight, literally a weight that's weighing us down, a weight that's stopping us from elevating, stopping our soul from elevating, which is what it came to do. It came to have some experience, to release some karmic debts, some karmic patterns, and to elevate because it's released it and it's now light. That's what we're here to do. How y'all doing? Y'all good? Take a breath. You feel tension. in your chest and your shoulders, let your shoulders drop. If you can ground yourself by just putting your feet flat on the floor, that was a lot. That was the heaviest, most of the heaviest part. And the idea that shame lives in the body, that's why we keep coming back to the body and the breath. The shame, the fear, all of that live in the body. And epigenetics, which is, it's a term you can Google it. But when a people have been through trauma repeatedly, that trauma, the markers of that trauma is passed down through your DNA. It modifies your DNA. So you're predisposed to things like, I don't know, high blood pressure, diabetes, anger, depression, anxiety, all of these things. So when they say, "Oh, yeah, slavery was a long time ago," well, we still feeling the effects of it, and then not to mention it wasn't that long ago, and we're still in a certain level of it now. We were told we weren't human, we were told we were bad. Shame is this belief that you are inherently bad. It's a false belief, but it's one that lives within us because of all of the years of trauma and generations of trauma that our people have been through. And I'm not gonna even discount the trauma that you may have been through in this life, the things that you may have heard from people, maybe sometimes your own family. It lives in your body and it has to be exposed and released. So let's keep it moving. Oh, I already moved on to the next slide. I got stuck. So full moons, what are full moons? They are like sacred mirrors. They are a time of culmination and clarity. I'm gonna start at the bottom here. And it kind of brings what's been hidden into light. If you think about what a full moon is doing, the moon is on one side of the wheel and the sun is on the other side. So the sun is shining light directly on that moon. So it's illuminating. It's like a spot illuminating whatever's been hidden, illuminating whatever you need clarity on. Um, and reveals unconscious patterns and desires. That's what we just talked about. In this case, it was unconscious patterns and false limiting beliefs that can be running in the background of every decision you make, every move you make, even your health. And a full moon can offer insight and some sacred closure. And we get one every month. How beautiful is that? The universe knows we're going through some shit, and every month it gives us an opportunity to release and begin again. And a different flavor of it because every month the moon is in a different sign when it has this full moon. So each one has a different flavor, a different energy to help us. The universe got us. And it can highlight imbalance and it can call for recalibration. And it deepens the intuitive messages. Some of y'all might be having dreams. Haven't had any this week. You might be having some coming up. And oftentimes it's difficult to sleep. You find yourself up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you wanna start talking to your ancestors because they done woke you up to hear something. Every time there's a full moon, I'll be like, "I think I'm sleeping. What we doing?" And the other thing that a full moon can do is the shadows rise. The shadows come up. We're thinking about that spotlight in an area that if the moon wasn't there wouldn't be anything for the sun to reflect off of, but because the moon is there, it's like, "Oh, everything that's here." You know how you turn on the light and you turn on the big light in the room, you're like, "Oh, shit, I need to clean up this room." That's what the moon is doing to that part of your natal chart, that part of your code, your existence is getting highlighted so you can clean out all the corners. You can clean out all the cobwebs. You can clean out all the shit that doesn't serve you. So and the shadows come up, old fears, doubts, the whole concept of lunatic, Luna, because things come up, emotions get high because the moon is elevating and illuminating all those things, and it's sacred information. If we can name it, we can reclaim and transform it, and that's what the moon helps us do, the full moon helps us do, and it also helps us integrate what the new moon initiated. So that's why if you can work with new moons and full moons, you can really get a good rhythm going of releasing, doing that work. and then calling in what you wanna replace it with, or calling in what's the next step for you, and continue to work with that. And I'm doing like this, it's like a ebb and flow. And during these times, you can invite your shadow to speak, not to shame it, but to give it a voice. There is a point, it's not a planet, but it's a point in your natal chart called Black Moon Lilith. And if you are I'm not, obviously, I'm not Christian, so I don't fully know the Bible like that, but I do know Lilith was the first woman, and she said, "Oh, wait, you wanna control me? Wait, what? No. How about no?" And then they came along with Eve, talking about they made her from Adam's rib. But Lilith, Black Moon Lilith in your astrology means that part of you that's like the wild woman, that part of you that, I'm gonna say, gives no fucks about what people say, think, or do, you gonna be you. The most maybe it's ratchet, maybe it was shadowy, whatever it is, but she's a part of you. She's there. Giving her a voice or whatever you wanna refer to your shadow as, maybe give her a name, giving her a voice because she's a part of you, and if you suppress it, there's only gonna be problems within your own life and within your own body. So the full moon gives you an opportunity to connect with your shadow and really amplify her or connect with her as a superpower. Use these times. And the other thing that full moons can be in terms of being a sacred mirror, the cosmic mirror, showing us what is no longer aligned. Like I said, turning that bright light on, um, that song from Prince came to mind, "Ugly Lights Come On." You try to figure out I'm messing it all up, but you go look at the song, you know what I'm talking about. Ooh, child, you got Black Moon Lilith in the 12th house in Pisces, honey. We're gonna talk about how mhm, yeah, that's some karmic stuff, but also powerful as fuck. Black Moon Lilith is like, "Baby, what we doing? We gonna heal some deep subconscious embedded shits, and then whatever sign that" oh, you said in Pisces. Oh, that's even deeper. Yes. What you boo. I see that's why your name is spiritual goddess. You already know who you are. And so this cosmic mirror is to show us what we gotta release. Those lights come on, and it's like, "Oh, damn, I need to sweep out the corners. I need to rearrange some things. I ain't even wore that in a minute. Let's get rid of that. That's the old belief that don't even fit me anymore. I had that belief when I was 10. Why is it still hanging around?" Full moon is your time to clean the closet, clean off the corners, the cobwebs, all the things. And this energy and use this energy to declutter and to spiritually, emotionally, and hell, even physically. It all aligns. It's a powerful time of ritual, forgiveness and release, hence why we have gathered here today. And you can trust that letting go creates space for what is for you, for what is for your soul, for what is for your betterment. 'Cause as hard as life can be, the things that happen to us, they never actually happen to us. They're for us, trying to get our attention, trying to move us forward. And the best way through the hard shit is to understand what is there to teach you. But you cannot do that if you close your eyes and run the other way and pretend it's not there and all the other things, or spiritually bypass. I detest that. I see a lot of it, of spiritual bypass. You cannot. That ain't gonna get you nowhere. We're starting all over again. And I know I personally been through so much. I don't want to go through this again, and I damn sure don't want my children to go through it. Greetings. Hey, Kiki Lo. Welcome. So we can't heal what we can't face, what we will not face. Like I said, you can't hide it, you can't bypass it. And this full moon helps us to face it. But always remember, we started off at the beginning with this. It's always with love. You have to love yourself so completely, so deeply that none of the other shit that's going on, what people say to you and all the other things even matter. But to love yourself does not mean, oh, it's all gonna feel good all the time. To love yourself means to have the devotion to your own growth, to take the steps even when it's hard, to do the work even when you don't want to have the discipline to do what you know needs to be done, even though you don't really feel like it, because the part of you that don't feel like it is the part that just wants to stay wounded. There's a part, that's easier to stay where you at, but we can do the work, you can get to the other side. I have a really harsh visual that I but it's the best way to explain shit that I've been through, is that I'm army crawling my way over glass or coal and fire. 'Cause sometimes that's what life feels like, and there is no other way you can avoid it but to army crawl your ass over that. Get through to the other side and then heal all your wounds, and miraculously, actually, when you get to the other side, you don't even have no wounds, but it was hurting along the way, but you had to keep going, you had to do it. But loving yourself every step of the way, loving yourself, being kind to yourself, taking a break, drinking water, staying hydrated, getting some sun, getting some exercise, eating good food, all the things. So then this particular Sagittarius full moon, it has gifts. God is always has gifts for us. So part of it is that there's an expansion of higher truth. So Sagittarius, as I mentioned before, is ruled by Jupiter, planet of truth, justice, and expansion. If you are a practitioner, think Shango. Shango like a party, but Shango is very strategic and Shango is very royal. But let's talk specifically about Sagittarius, again, ruled by Jupiter and planet of truth, justice, expansion, promotes big picture clarity and philosophical freedom. So again, that's part of why we are learning here together today, because that's part of the energy of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is like, we're not going to just talk about it, we're going to be about it, we're going to learn about it, we can actually influence our mental capacity and understand uh, not only intuitively, but intellectually what we are actually doing with it. But we're not going to keep it intellectual, it's going to get into the body, hence the full moon piece of it and the emotional. And this Sagittarius, it encourages us to live in integrity with our beliefs, truth and justice. Again, I think about Shango. That's justice. That's truth right there. That's that energy of that. And that's what Sagittarius. So you cannot hide anything in Sagittarius. You can't pretend like it's okay if it ain't Sagittarius. You gotta actually face what's there. And you will have the courage. Sagittarius invokes the courage to actually face what's there and to speak the truth, because that's part of it also is the words to come out of your mouth. Spit fire, not spit fire where you're burning down people, because that's the negative view of it. Sagittarius, Jupiter is in Sagittarius in your third house and it's your chart ruler. Yes, hunt. Listen, spiritual goddess girl, do I know you? Do we know each other? But either way, I think we are all aligned. That's what the point is. And then this is the truth teller's moon. So for those who have had, uh, that limiting belief that telling the truth has gotten us punished in some way, this is the moon to reclaim your voice. Again, not only for yourself, but for the ancestral mothers whose voices were taken away, whose voices were not allowed. Spiritually aligned, baby. Yes, exactly. But we have to, as many times as I have kept quiet, I feel like this kind of work, my ancestors been kicking my ass to do this for a few years now. And what has really dawned on me and really started to sink in, how dare I not use my voice because that's stifling them again. The only way they can fit, they don't have a body. I'm the one in my contract that said I'm gonna be the one. Who am I not to fulfill that contract? Speak up, use your voice, do the things you got came here to do. Okay, keep it moving. Mutual reception with Jupiter. Like I mentioned, the moon rules Cancer and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and they're in each other's sign, looking at each other like, "Hey, boo, let's get this done. Let's do this." Whereas Jupiter is like, "Let's be truthful. Let's deal with this karma. Let's deal with this ancestral truths. Let's learn about it. Let's understand it." And the moon is saying, "But let's be gentle with ourselves. Let's take care of ourselves, and let's take care of our emotional selves as well." So there's that balance. It's fire and water combined. Again, Shango and Yimo combined. Not a class on E5, but If those orishas are something that you understand, it helps to understand the astrology. I know the astrology helps me to understand Odu and the orisha, so I offer that to you as another layer as well. Now, Jupiter in Cancer illuminates emotional roots of karmic pattern. That's where the ancestral part comes in. That's what Cancer is about, is those ancestral roots, specifically your maternal roots. And Cancer, I mean, and Jupiter in Cancer, and right now, I believe Jupiter is at about that 0-degree mark. That's a very impactful, uh, degree point to be at for a sign, and newly, freshly, I think it just moved into, Cancer on Monday, so that's like 2 day before yesterday at the time of this live stream, and so it's very powerful and is bringing in, um, a lot of visibility into what are the karmic patterns that your ancestors are saying, "Let's get it done. Let's get it done." And it gives you a chance with this mutual reception, a chance to transform those inherited beliefs around your identity, around what being at home means, and what your worth is, how you view your worth, all the things and those limiting beliefs that we talked about in the beginning. And what's interesting to me is the piece around home, because home can be wherever the fuck you are. Because as a descendant from the first woman who birthed all of this, you at home everywhere. So if you choose to stay here in this country, or if you choose to be a digital nomad, or if you choose to be an expat, aka an immigrant in another country, you can do that and be at home wherever. You know, do your research, click in on that Stephanie Perry Exodus Summit so you can understand where you're going and where you're doing. But the point is, you can be at home anywhere, and our ancestors didn't get to do that. A lot of people, even now, don't even leave their city to be able to be at home wherever you are. Is a gift. And this mutual reception also opens the portal to rewrite some of those emotional blueprints, some of that fear, some of that those things and um, pains and traumas around belonging. Again, 500 years, and I'm counting 500 years because I'm counting our Brazilian brothers and sisters as well. 500 years of being taken from our home and treated inhumanely, to put it extremely lightly. Y'all already know what it is. So we have to repair that feeling of belonging, that feeling of, I deserve to exist. I deserve to be here. That has to be repaired. So with that mutual reception, it makes it supportive for that ancestral healing and the intergenerational healing. Ancestral, those who are on the other side, across the river, across the Columbia line, and intergenerational, because it might be your child or your grandchildren or your mama and your grandmama that are actually still here. There's still an opportunity to do that healing while you're here. You don't have to wait till somebody is an ancestor. And this moon is gonna help you to do that. And then there's this idea of cosmic permission, which kind of piggybacks off what I just said. But Sagittarius, with that fire, you kind of have the oomph to write a new story. It don't have to be what it was. It can be something different. And that fire, that courage to go forward, even though internally it may be a very fearful thing to go into uncharted territory, to do something different than what your family has done up until this point, because everyone was kind of living out the karmic pattern. If you're that one that has to do something different, it's going to feel odd, but this fire of Sagittarius can give you a little bit more of the oomph so you can get through those hard points, or at least the initial hard points, because there's always some. And this moon wants us to liberate ourselves from what has been binding, from what has been stopping us from being our fullest selves, from what has been stopping us from elevating in a way that our soul came here to do. Liberate us from what is truly holding us back. And I use that word liberate because it's for us, but I gotta keep going back to the ancestors. It's for them as well. They survived what they survived, and we're here now. We have more freedoms that they had, but we are still not completely free. We still got work to do to get truly liberated. not only physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. There's more to do. And it doesn't have to be a heavy, crazy thing that you gotta be like, "Oh my god, I thought this." You do it with love and joy and patience and bit by bit. It's not gonna all happen overnight, but having enough love for yourself and your people that you know you're gonna keep going or keep living and expanding and elevating. And even your DNA is gonna respond to a liberated decision. Sometimes when I push through a karmic pattern, and this is, physical and not only just DNA, when I'm pushed through a karmic pattern, I get tired as it's like everything energetically within me had to conjure up to push through that pattern, and once I get on the other side of it, I'm like, "Shit, I need to rest." And that's okay. I've had to actually tell myself that it's okay. I've actually had spiritual elders be like, "You know it's okay for you to take care of yourself, right?" Which is another important part is having actual real ones around you that can support you and see and witness your elevation, see and witness you pushing through things and support that while knowing it's work you gotta do. Nobody else can do it for you. But when you can be witnessed in doing it and supported or nurtured in some way in community, and I hesitate to even use the word community because it's overused quite a bit, but it is what it is. But that is what this this full moon in Sagittarius has come for us. It says, "Release what was never yours and walk in your purpose. Do what the fuck you came to do. Be who you came to be." Yes, yes. Yeah. So I'm gonna kinda go through this fairly quickly. So there's houses of the soul and the self. Imma talk a little bit about I'll just tell you what the soul expression self-activation houses are, but we gonna spend more time with them soul battlegrounds because that's where it can get rough. So the self, which is obvious, first house, that's your ascendant. That's how you show up in the world. That's your identity, your embodiment, your leadership, your aura, your presence, how you give yourself permission. And then there's the fifth house, which is joy, creativity, sensuality, your inner child. Now, inner child work is important as we're going through, as you're going through healing and going through understanding, releasing karma and healing yourself. But this is where play and passion and divine inspiration live. And it's often repressed because there's this inherited duty or shame or trauma. So we don't allow ourselves to play. We don't allow ourselves to have fun or to be sensuous. And sensuous in the sense of expressing and exploring all of your senses. Very different than being a sexual object. Although you can be a sensual and sexual being for your own pleasure, that's a whole other story. And then the ninth house is about your belief systems, your truth, your liberation. It's the soul calling you towards freedom, expansion, and divine space. So these are the houses that you can look at and look at your chart to understand how am I activating myself? How do I actually express myself? But to get to those houses that come right before them, those are the battleground. So once you get through the houses that come before, then you can get to your identity. You can get to your joy. You can get to your belief system. But right before you get to those, you're gonna go through some things. You're gonna understand some things. And the universe is just beautifully orchestrated and designed. And I'm looking at this is tropical astrology. So, there's many different astrology systems depending on, what culture, like many, many, many different ones. And I'm just focusing on the one that we tend to use more here in the Western Hemisphere. So these soul battlegrounds, fourth house, that's your home, that's your roots, ancestral patterns, your family, and ooh, child, spiritual guidance, you said all air. Your first house is Libra, your fifth house is Aquarius, and your ninth house is Gemini and honey, you be in your head, but super intelligent, I'm sure. Yes, on all the different levels. But this fourth house, home, root, family, ancestral patterns. I'm taking a deep breath because it is truly a battleground. This is where your karmic ties to your bloodline lay. And it's often reflecting some generational trauma and early conditioning. And it's the mother line, the healing that needs to happen in the mother line or your emotional security. And then there's the eighth house, death, sex, transformation, hidden power. This is where we carry the shadow, where we carry the shame and the karmic debt. It also holds deep gifts. Whatever the universe, goddess, he, they, them give us, that's some heavy shit. It comes with gifts, so you can handle the heavy shit. But you gotta face the heavy shit so you can activate the gifts. It's like a I don't know which one came first, chicken or the egg. I'm still working through all the things. But it's where we carry all of that, but also those deep gifts and soul contracts and the concept of rebirth. So you rebirth yourself in the eighth house, or the opportunity for that is there. And it's also the house of ancestral inheritance, your spiritual inheritance and your material inheritance. And know, and if you see that the pattern there is that you have ancestral inheritance of both the trauma, but within the same house, you have the gifts from your ancestors as well. And maybe even some like physical, financial gifts from them as well. And then there is the 12th house. Sis was just talking about that, uh, about the 12th house. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's Black Moon Lilith in the 12th house in Pisces. Past lives, unconscious patterns, and spiritual truth. You was a bad, I hope this is not offensive to you. You was a bad bitch in another life. I'm just saying. Black Moon Lilith in your 12th house, you was that one. You was that one who helped to liberate us, who did the things to help us get free to the extent that we free now. So your past self and your ancestors, we give thanks. We give thanks. So yeah, this 12th house is often where we carry the most silent burdens and patterns that sabotage us quietly or spiritually. And healing, when you can heal whatever's happening in the 12th house, it frees your whole lineage. So mind you, so once you get through the 12th house with the past lives and the unconscious patterns, then you're birthed into the first house of who you actually are. Once you get through the 4th house of home, roots, and those karmic ancestral patterns tied to your maternal lineage, then you get to the joy and the creativity and the pleasure of the 5th house. Once you get through, the death and the karma and the trauma, as well as the gifts and the hidden power and the shadow work of the 8th house, then you get to the 9th house of this truth and liberation, because 'cause you've burned away everything that was false. You've burned away and worked through everything that didn't serve you, that wasn't a part of who you are, and we give thanks. What she say, "Lilith kicks my ass in the best possible way." I feel you on that. Yes. So I wanna share and then if you hadn't got the point already, shadow work is the portal to power. You gotta get through the shit. It ain't gonna feel good. If anybody has given birth to a child, that shit don't feel good, but you got a baby at the end, a beautiful little baby, a whole other life. But you went through an uncomfortable ass 9 months and however long of labor and delivery to get to that other side. And that 8th house of rebirth is telling you that you're gonna have to rebirth yourself maybe a few times as you get and work through what you came here to work through for yourself and for your people. Because all of the karma ain't just everybody else. Some of it was from your own you in past life. Some of us did some fuck shit in another life, and so we should kinda straighten that out too. So, Imma tell you a little bit about my karmic codes. I've been kind of alluding to it. So, my Jupiter is in Sagittarius in my natal chart. So, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is at home saying, "Okay, I'm about to expand everything in this bitch." And it lives in my 8th house. So that house of of karma and trauma and hidden gifts and shadow work. So expand it. But because it's also gifts, because Jupiter is there saying, "All right, Imma help you out. We're gonna get through this. But you got a whole lot of shit. You decided to take all the things." And to be clear, let me take a step back. I don't have it here on the slide. All of those karmic houses, the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th, I got major shit going on in all of them. So I think I just said one of my witchy friend said, "I get the message that you just said, 'Give me all our shit, and Imma just come here with it.' All of our karma, all our stuff." Yeah, my Jupiter and Sagittarius sister. That's why I was like, "Okay, do we on the same page?" So my Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is my 8th house, that house of shadow and transformation. And the Tower card also this I'll explain the picture, but the Tower card in tarot also explains what happens in the 8th house. Things fall apart, so you can rebirth yourself. That's the way rebirth happens. Everything needs to get stripped away so you can come back again. You gotta find all the shadows, remove all of that shit that's not authentically you, authentically your soul you, not the you that you've chosen to be in order to fit into this world. But all of that has to go so that you can be rebirthed. And it's gonna happen as many times as it needs to happen for you to elevate and be who you are. That tower card, and if you know tarot at all, it's like a lightning strikes the tower, and everybody's falling out. They've fallen out in the pattern of the tree of life, which is a whole other code in and of itself. But the 8th house kinda reflects the tower card. So I got Jupiter in Sagittarius in my 8th house. So this picture was me, in the hospital in 2017 after I had an aortic dissection, which is a 99% fatal cardiac event that I almost was not. Oh my lord! Okay, I'm gonna come back. Wait, no, I gotta pause that story. You pulled the tower card tonight, child. You aligned. What the what? So this was one of my tower moments when I had that aortic dissection, and the way I explained it to people, and I have a whole other video here on YouTube when I talk about what I learned through the 7 surgeries, and yeah, you girls had 7 surgeries. And some of them, they didn't think I was gonna make it. This one in particular, I died 3 times and had 3 open heart surgeries, 50 days in intensive care. The description, before I even knew any of what I'm talking about tonight, how I described what happened to me was like lightning hit me in my chest and moved through my body, out my backside, back around again. That was my aorta tearing, but it felt to me like a lightning strike, and look at the tower. That was a tower moment. That changed the trajectory of my entire life. Lots of things changed that year, but what I have realized is that these are moments in my life that are calling me to do a thing, to understand it. And so I share that with you to say it shows up in my astrology. Like I said, I got stuff going on in the 8th house, the 4th house, and the 12th house. It shows up in my numerology. It shows up in my Odus. It shows up in whatever divination system I look at, study, and learn. It's all telling me the same story. You're gonna have to walk through the fire to get to the other end, walk through the shadow to get to the other end. And so my assignment has been to expand through darkness and to decode this karma. Because I was about to like, what? Why does this keep happening? Like, what is happening to me? I ain't done here yet, honey. Nope. Mm-mm-mm. They've been waiting on me to do this. And to help other people, which also shows up in my astrology. It's this weird tension between doing for humanity, supporting humanity, storytelling and being a healer for humanity, but using my own personal story to do so. So he was like, "Oh, you about to go through some things and you got some testimony." Now, for a while, I just really resisted it and kind of resented it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Yes, I am not ready to go yet. It's not my time. No, we got things to do. We have things to do. But that's why I'm here, and that's why I know I had to push through because I don't like being on camera and shit, but, this is what we gotta do to fulfill the archetype, the karmic archetype that my soul agreed to, the contract that I signed. I gotta do it. Imma take care of myself along the way, Imma stay hydrated. I've had to learn that the hard way, but I'm gonna keep it moving, and Imma do the things. But a little bit about what is karma. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. There's a whole other video, the 9 signs that you're in living through a karmic pattern that's here on YouTube, where I actually break down the definitions of karma, karmic debt, karmic patterns, karmic archetypes, and then give you 9 signs that you might be going through it. So I definitely encourage you to go see that. But let's just talk about it really quick. Karma is a sacred law of resonance. So it's not punishment. It's not like, oh, God is going to smite you because you did something wrong. There's balance that has to happen in the universe. There's balance that has to happen in your life. And we are here to help. Karma is here to help us to balance that out. The other thing is karmic debt is an unresolved soul lesson. So I mentioned that all of these things show up in different ways of expressing it show up in, all the different forms of divination. In numerology, it comes out as my particular karmic debt is a 16-7. So that means there's some shit I needed to learn about truth and betrayal. And that 16-7 says it's gonna come with some hard stuff, which is exactly what happened. The 16-7 literally is the karmic as the tower card, tarot as well. So again, shows up again. Karmic debt, think about a lesson of something that was done that was imbalanced. And it could be in any category of things, but there's a way to understand what that is that was done. And then karmic patterns is when the pattern or the karmic debt has become a cycle, either in your own life or in your ancestors or through generations, where there's a pattern of undervaluing yourself. For example, that's a karmic pattern. As as children of God, depending on no matter what your belief system is, if you're a child of God, to deny your own worthiness is a karmic debt. And if you've learned to devalue yourself, even if it was for protection because of all the things we talked about earlier, it's still a karmic pattern that has to be unraveled. And then when karma invites us to be the medicine, that's their karmic archetype. What are you here to do? And I kind of went through all of the things, using astrology, numerology, Odu's tarot, and all the things, and I started naming them so that you can understand. I could understand, and that's part of what I share in the course and part of what, I work through is so I can understand what am I actually here. So let me define myself not by the pains that I went through, not by what I may have done or not done in a previous life, or what my ancestors may have done or not done in a previous life. Let me define myself by the correction, let me define myself as the heroine of this damn story. What am I here to do? What did I agree before I came here to do for myself and for my people? That's where we become the medicine. That's where you go through that 12th house, Black Moon Lilith in Pisces. You go through whatever Black Moon Lilith is doing to you, because I know she probably is kicking your ass. But then you become the medicine for yourself and for others in whatever capacity that means for you. And that's all of us. When you are able to face what you need to face and walk through the shadows, you literally become the medicine for other people. You become the medicine for yourself first, and then the medicine for other people. They feast. They feast off of the overflow. But you didn't start the story, at least not in this lifetime, but you can change the ending. This is that soul rewriting the story piece that the Sagittarius full moon is here to help us. Again, if you want to go deeper, I'm taking a deep breath 'cause when I did that video for, the karmic patterns, the 9 signs of karmic, I thought I was gonna run through them in 30 minutes. That video is an hour long. But we go in, take breaks, do what you gotta do. But it's informative. I'm a teacher. I got Jupiter and Sagittarius. It's about higher learning. I can't help it. Imma just accept who I am. Alright, let's keep it moving. So, this course, before we get into the ritual, I just want course that I have coming. It is your soul knows the assignment, and if y'all know, back in November, we all knew this. 92% of Black women knew the assignment. Well, your soul knows the assignment of why you're here too. And it's 6 weeks, and I say 6 weeks, it may be more like 7 weeks, and then I know there's some holiday time in there, but once we get the cohort together, we're gonna figure out what days and which weeks and how we're gonna actually meet so that it is responsive to the people and the energy that's in the group. But it's about understanding karma, archetypes, and the ancestral patterns that we have to undo or redefine or rewrite so that we can be spiritually liberated. And as I've already talked about, it's rooted in my lived experience and my ancestral technologies. And I use a lot of different ancestral technologies because the reality is, especially if you are a descendant from enslaved Africans here in the United States or really anywhere, you got a mixture of DNA within you. Different tribes, different parts of Africa, different parts of the diaspora, because they did start shipping people from other like the Caribbean and places like that, or even from Brazil into the United States. Not to mention we got, Dutch and English and all of them in there. We have different aspects within us that we can acknowledge and we can I'm trying to hesitate on using the word leverage because that's like back in my corporate days, but that's the word I'm gonna use for now, but, stick a pin in that and make it a less colonized type of word for me, okay? And then it includes some tools, community, and some intuitive guidance. We get into it 'cause again, my work and what I've survived is to help others figure out what they need and have what they need so that they can do more than survive, but actually thrive. Then, we begin June 26th. Now, every aspect of all of this, I check in with my ancestors. They lead in this. That's my board of directors. They said, "We're gonna celebrate Juneteenth, but get started a week later." So that's why we started June 26th, because they were like, "Give it a week after Juneteenth, because we wanna celebrate. We want everybody that's gonna be in that class to activate, celebrate, and nourish their own ancestors, and then we gonna get started on the 26th." And then, so the early bird ends on June 13th, you apply for your spot, and when you do that, we basically get the vibe check call, and like I said, we will be on, I opened up my schedule for tomorrow and Friday so that if you wanna try to get in before the 13th, we can actually meet. Yes, yes. Okay. Woo, yeah. Mm, time for the ritual. Whoop, let me go back. Sorry. What I want you to do is get your materials, if you have your water and your ancestral item, gather your things together, and we are going to release some inherited shame and fear and call in ancestral support and breathe deeply because we're not alone. We're not alone because we have each other, and we're not alone because we have our ancestors. This is going to be that is our altar room, and I'm gonna go off camera because I need to hold space. I need to hold energy and walk us through this. Um, I just figured out why I was hearing myself. I had YouTube open, so I was hearing myself on YouTube. Okay, now I can put it back straight. It took all of this time to figure that out. I just saw it. So I'm gonna go off camera because this is a lot of a lot of energy to hold the space and to walk us through this ritual. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm going through this right along with you. So I'm gonna ground myself. And I encourage you to start taking some deep breaths and to ground yourself as well. Um, and then we'll get started. So I'm gonna go back to the visual and start taking some deep breaths and know that you have arrived at a sacred threshold of truth and transformation. The Sagittarius full moon brings us the light that we need so that we can see clearly and the fire that's required to burn away what no longer serves us. So take this moment to light your candle and let that flame remind you that there's a fire inside of you that refuses to go out. Let your feet be planted firmly on the ground, or if you're laying down or lounging, just rest heavily. Let whatever you are on support you. Let Mother Earth support you. After you've lit your candle, you can place one hand on your belly and the other hand on your heart and begin to breathe deeply and slowly. Your first liberation is your breath. It's yours. You can control it, but then also you can't control it. I always say if you tried to hold your breath, eventually you would pass out so that your breath could start flowing again. So we're going to inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 2. And exhale through your mouth fully for 6. And let's do that 3 times together. Inhale for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale for 4. Hold for 2. And exhale through the mouth for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And one more. And with every exhale, allow your body to soften and feel your spirit settle. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know what kind of counting that was, but you get my point. So I am going to pour a libation for us. Omi tutu, ona tutu, ile tutu, tutu lavaye, tutu ego, tutu ori, kosi, ku, kosi, aron, kosi, ajo, kosi, oko, kosi, tutibu, kosi, adina, kosi, wahala. Ashe, ashe, ashe. May our ancestors and all the ancestors of all of us here present on the live stream or on the replay be cooled and refreshed. May our Oris be cooled and refreshed. Iba sheo ludamari, Iba sheo wani awa, Iba sheo shetura, Iba sheo ri, Iba sheo gun, Iba sheo pe, Iba sheo ye, Iba sheo baba, Iba sheo baba, Iba sheo ye. Ibashe to the spirit guides, the elementals, the cosmic beings who surround us, guide us, protect us, bless us, and love us day in and day out. Ibashe to the divinities that are each and every one of us. Ibashe to the cosmic waters, the cosmic birther from whom we all come. Ibashe to the sacred masculine. Ibashe to the divine feminine. Ashe, ashe, ashe. If you have your ancestral item, you can hold it now. As we invite those who walk with us but are unseen, our benevolent, wise, healed ancestors of love and light, the ones who endured and dreamed, who survived and soared, the ones who never stopped praying for us, call their names. Call the names of your maternal lineage, those ancestors, the mothers who birthed all of the children, who birthed all of the people, all the way back in your maternal lineage. Names that you know are benevolent, of light and of love. Call their names, for hearing their descendants call their names is a prayer to them, is sacred to them. Call their names right where you are. Call the names of your paternal ancestors, your father and them, your father's people. Call their names again, hearing their names called in your voice. The vibration of your voice calls them forth and gives them light, gives them love. We call them forth so that they may be with us to continue to protect us as they have always done, but knowing that we are in partnership with them strengthens us and them. We call the ancestors, we call them forward. We call the ones whose names are so ancient that they are simply the vibrations whispered across the cosmic waters to create form. We call them forth. We call forth the fire, the water, the air, the earth, the ether, for they too are our ancestors. We call them forth and we give them love, we give them light, we give them veneration, we give them elevation, we give them thanks and gratitude for surviving what they survived, for supporting us in all the ways that they have supported us, ways that we will never know. We give them thanks, but most of all, we give them love. We call our uplifted ancestors, our guides, our fierce protectors, our dedicated warriors, our skilled healers to stand with each of us. Speak your name. My name is Barbara. And say child of, and say your mother's name. That is how spirit recognizes you and knows you by your name and claiming your position as the child of the one who birthed you. If you do not know your mother's name, you can say your name and say from whom I was birthed, if the name is unknown. And ask the ancestors to be with us in this moment. We ask the ancestors to be with us and to guide us along our roads with cool heads and clear minds. We are root of your root, soil of your soil, bone of your bone, and blood of your blood. Not deaf to our sincere prayers, nor blind to our honest propitiations. Keep the blessings of strong health, steady money, and sweet living close to us, so that we may honor and grow your legacy. We have not forgotten our commitment to our lineages, and we vow to never forget. We thank you. Madasi, Ashe, Amen. Take a deep breath. Feel the presence of your ancestors. You don't have to reach or search. Just allow yourself to feel their warm, familiar, strong presence and know that you are not alone. I invite you to close your eyes gently and imagine yourself walking barefoot in a lush forest. The full moon glows high above, and you hear the rushing sound of a river nearby. With every step, it grows louder and more insistent. That river, as if it's calling your name. So you follow the sound, that sound pulling you deeper into the forest, deeper into yourself. Soon you step into a wide, moonlit clearing. The trees open to reveal a beautiful river, shimmering in silver light beneath the Sagittarius full moon. The water flows fast, clear, and alive, like liquid memory. You kneel at its edge, your reflection looking back at you, not as you appear, but as you truly are. Whole, radiant, beautiful, and powerful. You place your hands into the water, the cool, refreshing water, and suddenly things begin to shift. You feel it. The current is pulling through you. The water wraps around your fingers like silk and speaks to you in vibration. And it says, let go. At this point, if you have your bowl of water with you, this is the moment to gently dip your fingers into that water. Let the water become the river. Let it carry away what no longer belongs to you, the shame, the unworthiness, the fear. Let it all go. As you gaze into the river, you see images ripple across the surface, stories from your lineage, faces of ancestors, visions of moments when your people chose to love, to rise, to endure, not just the trauma, but the triumph, not just the pain, but the prayers. Take a deep breath. Let those images wash over you. You don't have to name them. You only have to feel the truth that you are never alone and you are never unloved. You are the dream they dreamed. You are the answer to the prayers they prayed. You are the freedom that they never stopped fighting for. They knew they wouldn't see it in their lifetimes, but they fought for it for you. Arise to your feet. That river is still flowing beside you, and your ancestors begin to gather, circling around you in quiet strength. You can't see their faces clearly, but you feel them. Their presence is warm, loving, solid, certain. The full moon above you bathes you in that silver fire, and below the earth hums with rooted knowing all around you. You are held with the moon and the cosmos above you, Mama Earth beneath you, and your ancestors around you. You are held. Now feel the soles of your feet glowing from the center of each foot. Thick golden roots begin to emerge, and they sink into the soft earth through layers of soil and memory, through history and hurt, through time and tenderness. Your roots twist and turn until they find something solid, the heart of the earth. And when they do, you feel it. You feel your whole body light up. You are connected. You are connected to the land. You are connected to your lineage. You are connected to your own life force. Speak these words softly but with conviction. I am grounded in love. I am rooted in truth. I am held by those who came before me. Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen and slow. As this connection lovingly communicates at the cellular level that although your people may have been scattered, through you they are gathered again, planted, resourced, and strong through you. What a blessing you are. Feel the energy rise from the earth, up your legs, filling your belly, your chest, your arms, your head, until your whole body is glowing like moonlight in water. And breathe. You can say this out loud or silently. I am ready to release what was never mine to carry. I am ready to release what was never mine to carry. I stand in the light of my own liberation. I stand in the light of my own liberation. And I remember who the fuck I am. If you're uncomfortable with the curse word, you can just say F or just who I am. I remember who the fuck I am. I remember who I am. And with that, your roots pulse once more, sending your intention deep into the earth where it can transform. Your intention to release, your intention to liberate yourself, your intention to remember. Stay there, here, for one more breath, one more heartbeat, one more moment of sacred stillness. When you are ready, you can gently bring your awareness back to the room. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll your shoulders. Come back into this beautiful body. More anchored, more open, more alive, more energized, more supported, more loved, more held. Take a deep breath. And now we open the book of karmic memory, not to judge or shame, but to free ourselves. We'll write into release. I'll give you a prompt and set a timer for 2 minutes. During that 2 minutes, I want you to write continuously. No filter, no correction, no grammar, no paragraphs. Just let it flow. Let your higher self and your ancestors flow. Allow yourself to be the water carrying the currents of the gifts of their wisdom. We're going to do this 3 times with 3 different prompts with a little bit of breath work in between just so you can stay grounded. This is not a time to ruminate or to judge or to criticize yourself. Just know that this is your space and time to release. We're going to work with this paper as I mentioned before. So if you're using a journal, know that we'll be tearing the pages out, or you can just use a piece of paper. No, I have to get my timer. So, are we ready? Everybody grounded? All right. The first prompt question for you is, hold on just a second. When have I felt I didn't deserve to take up space, be seen, or be loved? I'll start the timer once I finish. I'm going to give you 2 questions. You can choose to answer one, or if you have the time and space, you can go into both. You only have 2 minutes. When have I felt I didn't deserve to take up space, be seen, or be loved? Or who or what convinced me that I had to earn my worth? Whew. All right. And we begin the timer now. When have I felt I didn't deserve to take up space, be seen, or be loved? Who or what convinced me I had to earn my worth? Just let the words flow. No judgment, no filter. When have I felt I didn't deserve to take up space, be seen, or be loved? Who or what convinced me I had to earn my worth? When have I felt I didn't deserve to take up space, be seen, or be loved? Who or what convinced me I had to earn my worth? Got about 30 seconds. Just keep writing. Let whatever comes out come out. Okay. Now take a deep breath. Those limiting beliefs, those false beliefs, those toxic beliefs around unworthiness is what we just wrote through. On an inhale for 4, hold at the top, and exhale for 6. Let it go. And one more. And let it go. Okay. Now we're on to the second part. What parts of me have I tucked away to survive? What parts of me have I tucked away to survive? What truth wants to come home? And we'll start the timer and just rewrite. Let it all flow. What parts of me have I tucked away to survive? What truth wants to come home? Breathe deeply. Release any tension. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. No need to grip the pen or pencil. Let it flow. What parts of me have I tucked away to survive? What truth wants to come home? Have about 20 seconds left. Just let it flow. Any last bits your soul or even your ancestors want to get out, let it flow. All right. And with that, you've identified some areas of shame that you need to release and reclaim. Release the shame and reclaim parts of you that were tucked away. Take a deep breath and inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we move on to the final journal question. Who in my lineage, in my bloodline, lost safety or life for being too loud, too bold, or too free? Who in my lineage lost safety or life for being too loud, too bold, or too free? And how have I inherited their fear? And we begin the timer. Really open yourself up to allow whoever it was in your lineage who lost safety or life for being too loud, too bold, too free to speak. You're asking them to speak through you, through your writing, by asking that question, to understand them so that you may understand yourself, to understand who in your lineage lost safety or life for being too loud, too bold, too free. And how have you inherited their fear? Continue breathing. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, relax the muscles around your eyes, your forehead. You may feel tension rise up. Continue breathing and using those golden roots that were into the earth to send that tension back down into the earth to be used for energy. This is you allowing your body to be the conduit to release that tension from your ancestral lineage, to release that fear from yourself and from them, and give it to Mother Earth. You have about 20 more seconds. Just write it out. If tears want to come, let them come. They're cleansing. They're their tears and your tears combined. And we are complete. Take a deep breath. And with that, we have identified where the fear of visibility has its roots. That didn't begin with us, but here is where it ends. So now hold that paper to your heart where you've written and your ancestors have written and your soul has written, your higher self has written. Hold that paper to your heart and state, this ends with me. the unworthiness, the shame, the fear of visibility, it all ends with me. Take a deep breath. Now, with the water bowl in front of you, just state, I offer these burdens to the moon and water. May what no longer belongs be returned, cleansed, and transformed. I offer these burdens to the moon and the water. May what no longer belongs be returned, cleansed, and transformed. Now you have some options here. You can tear the paper and use your candle, the fire from the candle, to burn it if you have a vessel to do that in safely. And with the ashes, and while it's burning, to drop it in that bowl of water. Or you can simply hold your hand above the water and the paper and then place the paper on your ancestor altar if you have one, literally giving it back to them, and leave it there for 3 nights and remove it. Let this act be intentional. Let that release be intentional. The actions you take here in the physical carry into the spiritual realm. When you are, if you decide to burn and place it in the water, that water will get poured outside into the earth, just as you were visualizing giving that pain, trauma, shame, fear, and unworthiness to Mother Earth through your feet or through your body, giving it back to the earth. This water that symbolically holds what you've released, that has combined fire and water together, returns to the earth to be transmuted and transformed. If you can do that tonight, great. If not, you can do it tomorrow. We have about 3 days after today to complete these parts of the ritual in a way that is comfortable, in alignment, and feels good to you. Because we're all different. Our ancestors are all different. Now, with the incense, you can light the incense if you haven't already. If you don't have incense and you have oil, or if you have perfume, at this point, if you've lit the incense, you can use that incense to waft it over your body to kind of seal the ritual that we've just done, the release that we've done, the blessings that you have received from your ancestors. If it's not the incense wafting that smoke around your body, then you take a bit of the oil and rub it in the palms of your hands and anoint your body with it. Your head, your forehead, your chest, just generally around the aura of your body. And the same thing with the perfume. You can kind of spray it around you and let the mist from the perfume settle on you. The point is to seal the ritual and the release with these elements. And as you do that, you can say, I cleanse myself of shame, fear, and falsehood. I reclaim my truth and I remember my power. You speaking these words, that's the most powerful prayer slash spell slash invocation slash affirmation that you can do when you speak over yourself. I cleanse myself of shame, fear, and falsehood. I reclaim my truth. I remember my power. As a matter of fact, write that down. I want you to repeat that to yourself. I'm about to get raw, y'all. When a motherfucker want to play in your face, You say that to yourself. I cleanse myself of shame, fear, and falsehood. I reclaim my truth and I remember my power. You remember who you are and respond accordingly. Not react, but respond. Because you've released all of these preconceived notions and beliefs about who you are. So now place both hands on your heart and say out loud, I am not what they told me I had to be. I am not what they told me I had to be. I am not the pain I inherited. I am not the pain I inherited. I am worthy. I am radiant. I am seen. I am worthy. I am radiant. I am seen. I honor my ancestors by living free. Say that with your whole chest. I honor my ancestors by living free. Feel this in your heart, in your bones, in your womb if you have one. Let it rise and fall. Let it circulate. I am not what they told me I had to be. I am not the pain I inherited. I am worthy. I am radiant. I am seen. I honor my ancestors by living free. Take a deep breath. I just want you to do a few more minutes of journaling. It's about 3 minutes. I'm going to give you 3 questions. You can choose to answer one or multiples. Now, this is going to stay with you. So if you're using a journal, you don't have to tear this page out. I want you to write about this is about the integration, the intentions moving forward. What truth about myself do I now see clearly? What truth about myself do I now see clearly? Actually, I want you to answer all three. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. What action will I take this week to embody my freedom? Because let me tell you, setting intentions but never actually taking any steps to manifest those intentions don't mean a damn thing. You got to take action. Nobody said it has to be big and grandiose, but you got to take some steps. Start with one and then go from there. What action will I take this week to embody my freedom? And the first one was, what truth about myself do I now see clearly? And then the last one, how does my life become a prayer for those who came before me? All those ancestors that we were just communicating with and connecting with and honoring and venerating. What about your life is a prayer for them? Shows that you are the answer to their prayers. How does my life become a prayer for those who came before me? What action will I take this week to embody my freedom? What truth about myself do I now see clearly? Take 3 minutes and free write. Start now. This is you blessing yourself. This is you calling in your full, whole self. This is you working with the Sagittarius fire to tell it what to create, what to manifest, what to move towards this next new moon in creation. Write honestly and truthfully. No one will see this except you. What truth about myself do I now see clearly? What action will I take this week to embody my freedom? And how does my life become a prayer for those who came before me? Breathe, relax your shoulders, your face, unclench your butt, and breathe deeply and slowly. Savor every moment of it, because your breath is your first liberation. You deserve to take up space. You deserve air. You deserve to breathe freely, clean, beautiful air. And with your incense and your oil anointing or your perfume, you smell good too. You have just under a minute left. Let's keep writing flowing. What truth about myself do I now see clearly? What action will I take this week to embody my freedom? How does my life become a prayer for those who came before me? And we are complete. Your soul has spoken. Your ancestors have spoken and listened. And the moon has received what you released. And now you can walk forward with truth in your mouth and love in your heart and fire in your soul. Now, with your candle, you can blow it out, or if you want to lick your index finger and thumb and snuff it out with your fingers. In some traditions, blowing it out, they say you're blowing away your blessings, but if you snuff it out with your fingers, you're actually bringing your own internal water, because you've licked your fingers, together with that fire, more alchemy. Or you can blow, because that's also your DNA going across the fire. So then you have fire and air coming together. And with that bowl of water, if you've burned the paper and placed it in, or even if you've just torn up the paper and put it in the water, you're going to blow on that water 3 times, kind of a sound, so that the air that you're blowing is coming from deep within you and not just surface level. 3 times. And smile. Because guess what? You are their answered prayer. You are your ancestors' wildest dreams. Your existence proves to them that their suffering and everything that they did was worth it. Your existence is proof that their prayers were answered. Through you, they find liberation. And again, you can pour that water into the earth tomorrow or tonight, however you feel comfortable doing it. Take a deep breath. You've just journeyed through truth and shadow and soul level remembrance. And hopefully you can understand that doing hard things, doing shadow things, does not have to be this depressing drag. The ancestors were people who loved and laughed and had joy, found moments of joy anyway. And so can you. You named what no longer serves you. You felt the weight of unworthiness, shame, and fear, and you felt it all melt into the river of your lineage, into that water. You did that. You did that. And now you stand clearer, lighter, and more rooted in who you really are. But it's just the beginning. Because the world will come back and try to tell you who they think you are and all the things, but you just have to come back to remember. And if tonight stirred something in you and you're ready to stop surviving karmic patterns and start transforming them, and you want to try to decode your karmic assignment, your soul assignment, I invite you to take the next step with me and join me in that course I mentioned at the beginning. Your soul knows the assignment. You can click on the link in the description and schedule your one-on-one vibe check so we can talk to see if this is for you so we get started. And don't forget, like this video if this all resonated with you. Y'all been rocking with me. It was just after midnight actually here on the East Coast. If you like it. If you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already and share this video, this ritual with someone else who is doing this work, who's trying to break cycles and who is trying to remember who they are. If there's somebody else in your family, that's even more powerful if they're open to this kind of work, because multiple of y'all in the same lineage doing this work, who can go far. I am so thankful for each and every one of y'all that's been rocking with me on this live. I'm thankful for all of y'all who are watching the replay, because as I mentioned, I'm breaking through my own karmic patterns, showing up and having you here with me is part of the assignment. It's part of my work. It's part of why I'm here. It's part of why I've survived the things that I've survived so I can do this and we could have these conversations and we could all get free. And just know you're not alone. You have ancestors, you have your higher self, and you have us. Not just me, but all of us that gather here. I give you thanks, spiritual goddess. You've been rocking with it. We are clearly Sagittarius, no, Jupiter and Sagittarius sisters. And Ashe, Amen, Madasi, Mudupwe, all the things. All of the ancestral lineages represented across all of us. We give you thanks and we give you honor. And we tell you now, as we complete and close this live stream and this ritual, that all of our ancestors that we've called forth can now return to your domain, can now return to Orun, can now return to the realm of the ancestors. And if there are messages that you want your descendants to hear, come to us gently in our dreams tonight, when the veil is thin with this full moon anyway. And while you at it, make sure we remember the dreams so we can write it down in the morning. And with that, my dear, sweet, good people, until next time, and as always, take good care of you.